Hey everyone, welcome back to the Can I Ask You a Question podcast. Each week on the podcast, it's going to be a solo episode with myself as we dive into a question or a certain thought and get curious, or a deep dive interview with one of the most interesting people in my world. Either way, I hope you walk away curious, encouraged, and equipped to make your life a little bit better and just have a little bit of fun along the way. Today's question is this: what does it really take to stay healthy and fit for a lifetime? We're going to dive into that question. There was a series that came out a little while ago called Limitless with the actor Chris Hemsworth. And it was a very fascinating and interesting series as he, episode by episode, faced these different challenges with the goal of, I think, basically pushing past the limits of the human body, expanding that, and really pursuing this idea of longevity in health. And so, Chris underwent some mental stress, and they challenged him, I think taught him how to manage mental stress and gave him tools for that. He underwent shock, so extreme temperatures of hot and cold. He fasted, did some different things with areas of strength, and I think a certain kind of strength for longevity, did challenges, I think training in the area of memory. And it was a fascinating journey and process of someone pulling out some of the tools and some of the apparently best science on longevity. This area is something I'm personally fascinated by. Health for the long run. When I think of longevity, when I think of what I mean by this question, to stay healthy and fit for a lifetime, I guess that's what I mean is that I'm thinking big picture. I'm thinking health for the long run. The way that I tend to evaluate value is that I look at quality and quantity. If I could have the very best chocolate bar, but just one bar, one time for 5 minutes, or I could have a lifetime supply, and let's just say for my analogy that it was healthy and I didn't add 1 pound to my waist of Hershey's chocolate, I'm probably going to choose the Hershey's, because while the very best chocolate for 5 minutes would be amazing, I'm then chocolateless the rest of my life. Whereas if I can have something that it's maybe not the best out in the world, but I'm having it year after year, the quantity element begins to really weigh in. And when I think of longevity, I kind of think about that as maybe not going for the extreme, but going for the long run in the area of health and fitness. I want to end well. It's kind of my personal motivations for longevity. I want to end well, not just start well. I've come to really think, and maybe it's because I'm in my 30s and I'm kind of past that a little bit, but that I'd rather be the healthiest and most in shape 40 to 90-year-old instead of the fittest 20 to 40-year-old. Once again, for me, I just kind of do the math and I go, man, if I could have a healthy and fit and good body that maybe is not on the front of a magazine, but is really good for my purposes for 50 years, or I could just be magazine worthy for 20 years, but it all went downhill from there. I'm thinking of athletes who were so fit, they were at peak performance in their athletics, but now have these chronic injuries and pain and are really lagging for the majority of their life after, let's say, professional sports. So when I look at that, and not everyone is like that, but many are, that is kind of a trade-off often. I go, I think I'll take the 50 years of a healthy body, God willing. The truth is that I do compare myself to other people. I think everyone listening, at times you compare yourself to other people. Some of us are really competitive. That really matters. Hey, bless you if you're this way. It's the comparison's not a big thing. But I have just I'm working on giving up on the goal of being the absolute healthiest, the absolute fittest, the absolute best shape, the greatest athlete. And I just realized for my life and my goals, that's probably not really achievable, nor probably admirable, not probably the best place to get obsessive and focus. Instead, the goal has changed, and therefore the finish line has changed to this longevity. Hey, can I be healthy consistently for all the purposes God called me to over the long run? And suddenly now the win is achieving that and working towards that. Now I can feel good about my body. I can feel good about the work I'm putting in. if I'm going towards that goal versus peak performance or look or appearance or even health for a season that maybe isn't sustainable for whatever reason. And they're not absolutely one or the other. You can be in absolutely great fitness and health when you're young, and there'd be certain benefits to that, and then carry that on. But sometimes I think especially if we get so focused or obsessive, we might then give up. And I would say, hey, instead, let me just go slow and steady wins the race. The truth is, I do want to look great. That's a desire, absolutely. I do want to be competitive at sports when, for some reason, a bunch of us are together and we're doing tug of war or we're doing a push-up competition. You better believe I want to win. That's a desire. But the bigger goal is I want to be able to play with all of my future children through their kid years, their teenage years, and still be able to roughhouse and be out there with them into their young adult years as far as I can be. That's a bigger goal for me. I want to be strong enough to help my family in an emergency. I don't have to necessarily run a 4-minute mile to be able to keep up a jog and run a couple miles to the gas station, get the gas can, get back to my family if we run out of fuel, or actually put up some resistance if someone were to try to threaten my family, to be able to be a defender. That to me is a lot more of the goal, a lot more of the driver. Other big reason for longevity and kind of the health goal I'm pursuing personally, and these aren't necessarily moral decisions. You could have different goals. You could have different trade-offs. You could say, I want to be a peak performer. You're an athlete, and I know I might have some chronic knee issues later, but it's worth it now. I know I may have to deal with some stuff later, but I want to win the championship now. It's just kind of a decision you have to make, trade-offs. But I've decided to go more of the longevity route. And one of the reasons for me personally is that I want to be healthy and energized enough to do the work that I love, the work God's called me to, whether that's pastoring and serving God and serving people, whether that's as a thinker. I heard something recently. If it's true, it's fascinating that like grandmasters, I think they're called at chess, that after a whole day of chess, just staring there and concentrating, they'll have burned, if this is true, like 6,000 or 8,000 calories just from that level of mental work. Mental work is still physically draining, and you need energy and clarity and health to be able to do it. So as a thinker and as a communicator, I want to stay healthy for the work that I want to do, that God's called me to do, for business, all the other things. And so that's a motivator to pursue this longevity. The other thing that kind of motivates me, some motivators personally, maybe you can relate, to pursue the longevity route of health and fitness, is that I've seen how a declining health has a real world impact on really good men and women that love God, love their families. But when their health declines, has a real negative impact on them. And I want to avoid that if possible. Suddenly, just maybe they're not able to operate at peak capacity in the role they have. Maybe they're not able to engage or even literally go places or be a part of things due to health concerns. And so I want to avoid that as much as possible. And I want to have a quality of life, but also a quantity of that quality of life. And that's kind of the aim and the goal. I know for myself, full disclosure, and for many people, that health and fitness can be an idol. There's so much, as I brought up before, comparison. There's so much information and contrary information, not knowing which way to go with it. But basically, once again, it can become very much an idol. It's something I wrestle with. And as we talk here, my goal is to inspire you, but not to idol worship of your body or your health, or make it the number one thing. Your spiritual health is more important than your moral health is more important than the health of even your cardiovascular or your biceps or whatever. And yet they actually lend to one another. They can be a symbiotic thing, but it can be an idol. And I want to just call that out and acknowledge that right now. It's not the goal of this podcast to stoke that in myself or in any of us. I also know that we all don't have the same bodies, the same environment, the same schedules, the same resources, and certainly not the same life. Some things are out of our control, where we started all those things, even just right now, and maybe chronic illnesses that we're battling through. Some things we just have to make the best of that others don't. There are situations we have to make the best of that situation. Other people are not dealing with that situation at all. Other people don't have any lemons and we're having to take lemons and make lemonade. I think though that we all have that in one form or another. And so we really are running our own race, and we need to do that with grace and just say, okay, where I'm at in light of my situation, what can I do to move forward and to achieve longevity, while also, and that is that thing, that actually the last episode in that series, Limitless, that I talked about earlier, it actually was not that I maybe ascribed everything that they said in it, but it was on acceptance, on the idea that ultimately you would get old. Ultimately, there is a limit to the human body. I think they might have said for now. I think they're hoping they can maybe scientifically find a way to live forever or whatever. I'm not sure I believe it. I'm not knocking them. That was their thing. But actually, very fitting in the series. The last one was acceptance. Ultimately, we are going to get old. Ultimately, there are situations. But what can I guess so my point there was, not let's not make an idol of health where we're just so afraid to get old, so afraid to die, so afraid to decline. But let's be proactive so that we can delay the decline, so it can be a graceful. I just hope that every year of my life there's a grace to it, and that I'm able, that I don't, there's not a lot of regret, that I go back and say, hey, I could not really have predicted that I'd get in a car accident and there'd be this pain that I'm having to walk through, and until Jesus heals me, that hasn't happened, and God willing it won't. But if it did, I want to be able to say, hey, I can't affect that now. Maybe I have a limp, or maybe I'm dealing with this thing, but what I could control, I did. And that's really all we can ever do, is in terms of regret proofing our life, is say, what I could control, when I realized that was a bad habit, when I realized I started to make the shifts, and therefore I'm reaping the rewards of that. And if we do that, I think many of us, we will age gracefully, in the areas of health and fitness and many other places. So let me dive into what I'm doing. There's, I think, 7 or so areas I want to share with you, things I'm doing to achieve health and longevity for a lifetime. And I want to make this super clear. I'm not an expert, not at all. And so I don't want you to think of this so much as an expert, because I'm not training you in health, someone that's achieved it and just rocking it, training you. I want this just to be 2 friends, me and you as you're listening, or if it's a group of you listening, me and you guys, you gals, just 2 friends talking and sharing some of the things I'm doing, some of the things I'm trying. And then I'll actually go through some areas where I think I need to do better, can do better. But maybe they'll spark some ideas and inspire you. And let's just dive in. Number 1, here's what I'm doing to stay healthy and fit for a lifetime. And that's eggs and toast for breakfast 5 days a week. Eggs and toast for breakfast 5 days a week. Not raw eggs. I'm not drinking. I'm not trying to impress anybody. And not just egg whites. I don't really understand that. I know it's just like the protein bit. And I think people were afraid of cholesterol. I'm reading stuff that says that we shouldn't be as afraid, and when it comes from eggs, because of the good cholesterol outweighs the bad cholesterol, kind of counteracts it. You can do your own research on that. But I eat the whole egg, scrambled eggs that are kind of sauteed or fried, if you want to call it that, in a little bit of olive oil. And I've actually read, and I checked this out again, that eggs actually have trace elements of every essential vitamin and mineral your body needs except vitamin C. And they actually think the reason eggs may not have vitamin C is because apparently birds, or at least chickens, are able to, from what I understand, generate their own vitamin C. Their body can generate it, whereas I believe our body doesn't generate that nutrient. It has to absorb it. And so, but otherwise, there's so much health in eggs, and so that's one thing I'm doing just to stay healthy and fit. They are a good and affordable source of protein. I think in a normal egg, it's like something I like to do is look at calories divided by protein, grams of protein, and kind of see the ratio. And I might be misspeaking right now, but I think an egg is like 70 or 80 calories and like 6 grams of protein. So it's only like 11 or 12 calories per gram of protein. And when you compare it to other sources, that's really good in my opinion. And it's quite affordable. I'm interested in the future in switching to like an organic egg, and apparently the source of, I'm learning more and more that the source of your food and the health of the animal, or and the egg in this case of the chicken, the health of the chicken really impacts the quality and the nutrient denseness of the product. It seems like a no-brainer, but I guess I kind of neglected that for a lot of years. I kind of thought chicken was chicken and egg was egg and whatever. But I'm looking into that, and as it's kind of an affordability issue and budgeting issue. I just need to figure out what that costs, and I might switch that over since I do eat a lot of eggs. We do as a family. My wife also does a good job in meal planning and prepping healthy lunches for us as well. So we try to do that about 5 days a week. But we have our sourdough toast with butter and our eggs 5 days a week. And that's been helpful. One thing I like too is it's a habit that right now we're able to feed it to our daughter. My wife eats it, I eat it. So the whole family, I know they're getting some nutrients, some minerals, some vitamins, they're getting some protein. And it's quite affordable, and we're able to do that 5 days a week. We used to do for years and years smoothies every morning, green smoothies, and we may switch back to that, but it's been eggs and toast for the last season. And I'm not perfect at that, but that's number one. Something that works for me when I do it. Number two is I take a daily greens supplement. So here's some of the stuff I'm doing for longevity and health. This is a new one, but I like taking it. I like covering my bases nutritionally with a supplement. And the one that I get, I researched the company. I felt like I could trust their claims, that when they're saying it is what it is, that really is that. When they're saying it's organic, it really is, and they're not just playing wordsmithing. So that's important. And then and that company that I'm not sponsored by them right now. I may become an affiliate later, but if they'll let me. But is Ancient Nutrition, Dr. Josh Axe, and so I really enjoy them, and I'm sure there's many others, but that's the one I'm using right now. And I like that the supplement, it's a greens supplement, gets you a lot of your vitamins and minerals and other things, but it's coming from real food sources. And to me, versus I think lab created vitamins or other ways, when it's coming from real food sources, from the best of my knowledge, thing is with food is it's so much health. There's so much more life in it than we realize. So many more micronutrients and other things that if we can get it that way, it's better. And so I like that. We're taking the tablet form versus the powder, and I was deciding they offer, most places will offer a lot of times it's a green juice powder. It's your greens powder. But this is actually a tablet, and I've come to like it because as we got less and less consistent on our green smoothie, and you have to add all the other stuff and put it in the blender and make it, and it's not quite as appetizing to my family. That way, if we'd done it that way, we'd have had way less screens. Whereas when it's just a vitamin, a pill, a tablet that you take, then I'm able to do it day after day after day. And so I actually like the tablet form. And I'd done some nerding out on the differences there between like a powder. There's basically capsules, which are usually kind of like a gel, kind of a capsule. A tablet, which I believe is literally just all of the ingredients pressed into that form. So there's like usually less stuff to carry the ingredients, and then there's a powder. And so a capsule has the powder inside. The tablet is basically the powder smushed, and then a powder is just loose. And there are pros and cons to both. But I really like actually that when I realized that essentially a tablet is just powder in a different form, then I liked the consistency of that and taking that green supplement. I'm planning to add a probiotic and a collagen supplement in tablet form soon. So I'd like to also get our I think it's like 50 to or plus thousand, or maybe it's 50 million, but it's whatever it is, the daily recommended dose of probiotics, one of microorganisms, I think that's called, but different probiotics. So we're going to want to start taking that for gut health and so many other things, but understanding more and more that that your digestive system and your gut health is the part of the whole cycle of your body. And so wanting to get that into our system. I like some fermented foods, which provide probiotics. My wife, Allie, not so much. And so for both of us, though, then getting that in to where we kind of get that baseline in our bodies, super helpful. Getting more and more interested in collagen, and we try to add bone broth. Right now, I know Costco sells a good organic chicken bone broth. We'll add that, make now a lot of times our soups and things instead of just with like chicken bouillon, we'll do bone broth that contains collagen. We want to take a supplement too, and that's great apparently for nails, hair, joints. So that's when I'm thinking about longevity. One of the biggest things I'm trying to do is while gaining strength, gaining mobility, using my body, keeping it in good order, I want to prevent injury. And so I want to add the collagen in to help that with all the joints, one of the big points of injury. And then we're planning on getting a powder collagen and a protein powder protein. So basically, the company we buy our stuff from, they have a collagen and protein mix. Basically, from what I understand, basically the source of collagen also is a source of protein. And the supplements, that's what you're really lacking. The ones I was looking at that are tablet, is you're not getting. They just can't put enough into it, I think, size-wise, to do a lot of protein. And so that's traditionally a powder, and we want to do that so we can add it to baked goods when we do smoothies or shakes. Ice cream, we just got a new ice cream maker, and apparently you can add protein into that. And so we just want to find ways to sneak in more protein, more collagen into our diet. And so that is number 2. It's kind of a whole mix of things. It's a journey of supplements, but I take a daily green supplement. And on that, I'll just pause for a second. From what I understand, my reading on the blogosphere is that you should prioritize real food and veggies and fruits, real fruit, veggies and fruits, and good healthy meats and real food as a source of your nutrition first and foremost. And the supplement is to be just that, a supplementation. And so we're trying to do that. But in a busy life, it's convenient and nice, so I like it. The other thing, though, is what I recognize is where we're at still is it is cost prohibitive to add all of these, and so I want to encourage you, don't be discouraged if that's where you're at. If it's cost prohibitive, figure out, prioritize what's the first one. And hopefully, my kind of hope is that literally I will feel better and healthier from the first supplement or the first health decision, that it's going to actually help me make more money and be more energized. I'll be able to afford the next one and the next one. I believe very much in investing in ourselves, but I also recognize sometimes we have to do that step by step. We need the wins and the results of the first self-investment to produce enough so we can do the next one. But as that goes on, definitely I'm interested in that, been learning more about supplements and just nutrition and health in general. Got a good tea that we like to drink that's a ginger turmeric with the black pepper. Just trying to find different ways to organically and sort of through food bring health to our immunity, our immune system, and just overall body function. Number 3, I do 3 simple exercises, one each day, that covers my whole body workout. And so, when I go and I see like fitness videos and people's routines, they'll be adding in like 20, 30 different moves. And I think maybe it's, because they're so passionate about fitness and maybe they don't want you to get bored. And I'm always kind of like, what is the very minimum moves I need to learn and do with proper form to achieve a whole body workout? And from my research, what I needed is basically you kind of got like arm day and leg day, you need upper body, lower body. I needed an exercise that was a push exercise, a pull exercise, and then legs like a squat exercise. And so on a 3-day rotation, 6 days a week, when I'm doing it, day 1, I do push-ups. And so I'll do sets of around 15 push-ups, and then I'll take a break. And later that day, maybe someone's in the microwave heating up my coffee, a meeting's about to start, I'll do another 15 push-ups. And I just try to do basically as many as I can. And that day, I'm trying to break down the muscles in my arms and the pushing muscles, which I think, if I'm remembering right, are more like your triceps and things like that for push-ups. I think it's your chest, it's your shoulder, some of your back, and I'm getting that push upper body exercise. And I think with push-ups are just such, in my opinion, and many other people's opinion, such a cover all exercise, because at the same time, if you're doing it right, you're engaging your core and you're essentially doing a plank. It's a super efficient exercise. And then, I do want to win those push-up competitions, so that competition level is still there. Then day 2, I'm trying to do kind of basically rotate. So I'm exercising almost every day a little bit. But it's just throughout my day, and I'm trying to let my triceps kind of rest, and I'm doing pull-ups. And so from what I understand, like that pulling motion, where you're pulling yourself up versus pushing something away, is really hard. There's not that many things with just body weight that can achieve it. You essentially have to find something. You basically pull-ups, from what I understand, without bands like resistance bands or any kind of weight, are one of the only ways to achieve a pulling motion, right? Like maybe otherwise you got to introduce some kind of weight like a rope. I'm sure you could probably pull the rope, but then you got to have a giant weighted rope. And so what I did is I just got a pull-up bar at home and a pull-up bar at work. And so I'm at one of those places every day. And so whenever now the rotation, it's the pull-up day, then I'm like still like super new to it. And so technically I'm actually even doing, so that'd be a pull-up. I'm doing a chin-up, which is apparently kind of like a step up like this, to step up to the eventually the pull-up. And so I can do like 3 chin-ups in a set. That's where I'm at. And then I'll take a break, and later I'll come back and I'll do some more chin-ups. And then now my goal is to try to, am I doing that one exercise? I used to do all 3 kind of throughout the day. That was my goal. I was kind of do all 3. Instead, I want to actually try to break down the muscle fibers so they can rebuild on the rest day. And so I'm trying to break down and get some burn on the pull-ups. And then day 3 is squats. And from what I understand, once again, squats are just uses so much of, I think, the back chain, if that's what they call it, the back of your legs and glutes and all of that. And so it's such a good exercise. So I'll be doing squats. I was having some knee pain, and so then I switched to like lunges or wall sits. But basically, I'm just trying to do some simple body weight leg exercises. But the most default one is squats. And the cool thing is, you could be at a restaurant, you could be at a coffee shop, step into the restroom, and if it's a single restroom, lock yourself in there. And I found like I don't want to do a push up on a dirty bathroom and public bathroom, but I can do some squats and go back out and keep writing a blog at a coffee shop or something. I've done that. And so these 3 things, you can do them, and I kind of think of them as sweatless exercises. So I'm often doing them at work, and I'm not I don't need to go take a shower after a 15 set of push-ups or anything, but I start to break down the muscle fibers. And so the number 3 thing I do for health, to stay healthy and fit for a lifetime, is these 3 simple exercises, 1 each day. Number 4 is this. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're with me. Is I walk regularly indoors and outdoors. And so, yeah, I take a lot of walks outdoors. I really enjoy it. And, I love, to me, man, walking in the sun with a good podcast or audiobook or just thinking or praying. I love it because it's like, I'm not a great multitasker. So that's like the best I get at multitasking. To me, I'm like, man, I'm getting some, vitamin D from the sun. There's all these research about just your mood and health, getting out in nature. I'm moving my body, my heart's going, I'm burning some calories, and I'm learning, or I'm thinking, or I'm talking on the phone. I love to, if I'm on the phone with you, I'm pacing around. If I'm inside or I'm outside and I'm taking a walk, I'm almost never still if we're talking on the phone particularly. And so I take a lot of walks. There are seasons when I take a lot of walks. There are seasons when maybe I get 1 that whole week. So I'm not great at all of these. I want to make that clear. But when I'm doing good, this is my plan of success. And then I just purchased a walking pad for indoor walking. And so that's just a treadmill that's usually small, can go under your desk or somewhere easy in your house. Mine's foldable and it doesn't have any handholds or a screen up high or anything. And so it's just literally just the pad, the treadmill part that's rotating, and I'm able to do that while I've found that I can do simple writing or email stuff or check things off on my efficiency planner, or I could definitely watch videos or talk. I was on a 45-minute call earlier this week, and I was just on the phone with them doing business and walking for 45 minutes, since I'm already adding miles and miles a week that way by adding in the walking pad. And I hear great things about walking. I think it's incredibly gentle on your body. I do feel sometimes my ankles will get sore. There's still some, but it's a lot more gentle than other forms of exercise. And it's something that that I enjoy, and I think that's a big key here, is finding things that you enjoy, because that's going to lead to that longevity. That's going to lead to that, being able to do it for years and years. So I can see myself as a 33-year-old man walking, I am, but I can see myself at 83 still walking and talking and dreaming and thinking and getting all those benefits. And so that's number 4. Number 5 is I hydrate smart. I try to. So I purchased a cleaning caddy that's great for fitting up to 6 cups. So imagine like a cleaning guy or a cleaning gal coming and knocking on your hotel door, and they have like one of those caddies, and they'll have like like the a squeegee or whatever, and the toilet cleaner and all their different supplies in the caddy. Well, I bought one of those on Amazon. It's like a rubber caddy, and it actually I think they marketed it could do this. It was a cup holder too, and it fits. It's meant to fit, cleaning supplies is one of the things, but it can also fit cups. Like I have my big water right here, and this doesn't fit in everything. And so, when I'm trying to stay hydrated and I'm trying to help my family stay hydrated, some days it would be a coffee cup, a smoothie cup, and a water cup for my wife and I each. That's 6 cups. And it's tedious to try to bring all those out to the car. And if it's tedious and it's not working, probably going to just not bring the smoothie or not bring the water, not bring the coffee. If we could leave the coffee, we'd probably be fine, but we want to bring the other 2. And so this is a cool system. It's just a little caddy, and people laugh at me in a good way. I think I'm awesome as I walk in holding all the different bags for my family as we'll be going somewhere, going to work. And I'll also sometimes if I have that many cups, I'll bring it out in the caddy and I'll be carrying them in. One of the things I do in terms of hydrating smart is that this here's my water bottle. It's 40 ounces. I looked on the bottom. It's 40 ounces. And what I'll do is I'll fill it up at the beginning of the day. I'll take a drink right now. I'll fill it up at the beginning of the day so that I can measure. Sometimes if it's like half full, I'll fill it again. I don't know, how much did I drink? And so I know whether I've drank a full 40 ounces or more, or if I'm on my second one or anything that way. And I try to drink this whole thing. I need to do better at that, but that's the goal. And I probably do more as well. Other shift that I've been doing is that I add raw honey and half and half to my coffee instead of creamer. I learned what artificial vanilla is made from. I'm not going to say it on the podcast. It's kind of gross and really gross. And so I've just been trying to get, I still eat like junk often. I'm not perfect in any of this stuff. We're going to talk about the things I can do better, but I'm trying to eat healthier, trying to do real versus artificial where possible. And so one of the areas is, I would do just like a French vanilla or a hazelnut creamer in my coffee. And calorically, it's almost identical to half and half and things like that. Might even be better in some situations calorically, but it's not real in my opinion. It's not real from what I understand. Like there's a lot of artificial ingredients or things, and it's not like a legal claim I'm making. It's just it's definitely different than just like half and half. And so I wanted it to be cleaner for me, and so I switched from a creamer to honey and half, and now I've just kind of changed my appetite to that's like super enjoyable and sweet. And I rarely do one of those kind of sweet creamers. I'll do it on vacation or something. And after saying this, I'll probably relapse and have a bunch of it, but hopefully not. And then this is new. I'm trying to stop drinking coffee after noon, so after about 12. And part of that is because, I don't want to alter my sleep. I've never felt like I was super affected by caffeine, but just in case. But also, and that you'll see that on my things I can do better is when I'm drinking a lot of coffee, I am drinking a lot of half and half. And that just calorically can be high. And a lot of people say don't drink your calories. And so if I can stop there and switch to tea, which I really like tea. Tea's has so many health benefits, tea is just like a super tool in my opinion for health. If I can switch to that, I'm getting more hydration, more health, immunity boosting, depending on the tea, different things like that. And so I try to hydrate smart. That's number 5. Number 6 is I snack smart. This is, I guess, aspirational and sometimes true. But I add raw honey to my half. I add raw honey and half to my coffee instead of creamer. I already said that one. Oh, I added that twice on the I hydrate smart. And then on the snack, the other thing in terms of snacks is that I like to pop my own popcorn, which I've kind of researched and gone back and forth, try to obsessively a little bit. Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? And I think a lot of people say it kind of depends what you're putting on it. But for us, we pop it on the stove and like a whirly pop or whatever, classic popcorn maker with a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil, and then we'll melt the coconut oil instead of butter and put that on top. And from what I understand, I think they would recommend do organic popcorn kernels. I don't know if mine are, but that's kind of a healthier snack I try to do. I find it super filling, and relatively speaking, like you are getting, I think it's what's polyphenols or something. I think that popcorn has antioxidants. I could be wrong on that. And then there's a lot of benefits to coconut oil. You're getting some good fats. And so there actually is some nutritional value, but also just calorically, it's not super high for the mass of popcorn that you can get if you're not adding the popcorn is not actually super calorically high. It's the coconut oil that's calorically dense. But when you add just a little bit on there, put some on top, use a little bit to kind of grease the pan for the pop and the popcorn. I find it to be a good healthy snack. I had that last night. And then, behind me in here, I usually have a supply of different, some kind of a nut, like an almond or different things like that. So I'll try to do healthy snacks. When I'm not doing healthy snacks, like yesterday, I was having peanut M&Ms. I would not call those the healthiest snack in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but they were super good. But I try to snack smart and then save the other stuff for more of a celebration, not just throughout the week. Number 7, and that kind of goes in this point. I save it for the Sabbath. I try to. That's kind of a play on words there. The Sabbath is this religious idea, and something Allie and I practice quite liberally, but we practice it where basically on the seventh day God rested and he was creating the world, and then in the Old Testament it was very clear God's people were commanded to honor the Sabbath and to rest and to honor God, and then Protestant Christians I think feel a lot more free in kind of how they practice that, but essentially for us, every Saturday, that once a week cycle is a day to rest, to honor God, to really just, it's definitely just a day off, a day to celebrate, a day to be with family. And it's also kind of you've probably heard of this concept, a cheat. Some people have a cheat meal. We have a whole cheat day. Maybe that's an area I need to grow in, but it's about 24 hours or so from Friday night to Saturday night. And that's when I try to save the most delicious, the most indulgent food and snacks and things for a fun date and different times like that. We'll try to do that there, and then eat more clean and disciplined throughout the week. Sometimes I'm better at that than others. In my job, there's so many like celebrations and events and birthday parties and things where you're with people, and I've had to try to balance, like, man, I want to celebrate with people. I think most people have this challenge to some degree, but I also want to eat consistently and healthy and save it for when I really want it, not just kind of okay birthday cake at your good friend's party. And so I'm trying to balance that out, but mainly trying to save it for the Sabbath, save it for the cheat day. And that's number 7. These are 7 things that I'm doing or trying to do for longevity, for to being healthy and fit for a lifetime. Because if I didn't say that, just to clarify, I kind of look often at nutrition and lifestyle as the health side, and then of course exercise as the fit side, and between the two as a combination, it's going to lead obviously looks and appearance and body composition and slimness, and it want all of that, trying to pursue that, but for a lifetime in a sustainable way. And so the 7 things that I do to try to achieve it. I hope that they've given you some ideas. I hope that they've inspired you. I hope that you were encouraged. If you're laughing at me and you're so much better, then it's great. I'm glad that I encouraged you today and you're feeling good about yourself. We're going to talk about some areas where I can improve, and you can feel even better about yourself, but also just get some more ideas. I'm teasing. But first, I want to ask you to subscribe to the Wise Letter. What is the Wise Letter? It's the most awesome newsletter on the web, according to me. And I write it every week. I'd love for you to subscribe. It's a direct link of communication between you and me. You can reply to the emails, ask questions. It's a weekly form of encouragement, and it's an active way to support the show. It's great to see. It kind of gives us an idea of our audience and the growth of our audience to see who subscribed to the Wise Letter. And I like a combination of listening, audio, podcast, growing this way and be encouraged and challenged. But then I like to, other moments, to read and to get a newsletter or of course a book or an article. And so I want to send those to you each week. So go to thewiseletter.com and subscribe to that today. I'd super appreciate it. Okay, here's where I can improve. And I hope in the conversation, I hope you feel that it's a conversation. Hope you feel and can see that I don't have it all figured out. But these are things I've learned. These are things I think things I shared, the seven. I'm proud of all those. I think I'm encouraged, even as I'm just sharing it with you, to stick with those. I like the trajectory of my life with those in mind. And of course I'm doing more things. I kind of want to limit the number, but even as I'm talking, um, the way you live and where you're putting your trust. And so for me, I find that my faith is super symbiotic to the health of my body. That unforgiveness is really unhealthy for your body, and so my faith calls me to forgive. Fear and trying to hold on to control is not healthy for your body or your well-being. And my faith calls me to surrender control and to trust in Jesus. And it promises sleep for basically God's saints. And so getting good sleep and having peace in your life is super helpful, healthy to your body. Having good relationships. I think they say that just getting married men live longer traditionally than single men. I've heard that. I've verified that myself, but I can see that my life is so much better because of my marriage. My marriage is strengthened because of my morals and because of my faith and because we put a priority on our relationship and we're commanded to by God. And so much, it probably needs to be a whole podcast on that, just how faith and your lifestyle and your values are going to either really often deteriorate your physical health or help it. And I find that those things are all aiding it. And when I am not doing good in my faith, and things that we'd call not virtuous, those are usually things that also are going to be undermining my health in one way or the other. And I'm medicating with food, or I'm being impulsive, or whatever that might be. I'm being lazy. And so faith plays a huge part in overall longevity and health as well. So I wanted just to give a shout out to that. But here's some areas where I can improve. And as I was saying, I hope you just feel it's a conversation and then your brain's just going and you're getting inspired. You're doing a checklist of yourself. Where can I grow? What can I do better? Oh, let me get back to that habit. And I'll share some areas where I know I can improve. And the first is this: number one, I can cut back on the half and half. They say don't drink your calories. And I know that I'm adding a lot of half and half to make for my coffee. But when I'm doing that all through the day, it's I actually like that the half and half. I'm not super scared of the fat in it, the fat content, and I like that it has some protein. Um, but it's kind of a sneaky way for calories, and I'm personally trying to cut some weight, and so I can cut back on that. The challenge is just how, and I think that's everyone's gonna be different. Do I want a less tasty cup of coffee? I have to change my taste buds. I did that to get rid of the creamer, and I like just the half and half and the honey. But am I willing to cut the honey, or am I willing to cut the half and half and just have more of the? I don't really enjoy black coffee anymore. There was a season when I was doing that. I think for me, I'd rather have really good coffee the way I like it, but less of it. And so by limiting the time crunch on that, that's probably my strategy to achieve it. Number two is I can better plan healthy dinners and lunches on the weekend. Okay, true confession. Chicken nuggets are a staple when we don't have something planned. So I love chicken nuggets. We got the Chick-fil-A sauce from the store, or we'll have some extra packets from we've eaten out, and we'll save them. And I love chicken nuggets, and I guess if it was like this organic, really healthy chicken, I'm not sure that our nuggets are the healthiest chicken inside of that breading. But we'll do that, or sometimes mac and cheese or stuff like that, more regularly than I want to. And so it's something that we go to it when we don't have a plan for the meal, and because we're busy and things like that. It's just sometimes convenient. So I can do a better job of working with my wife and supporting her, and she does the lion's share of the work on this, so no shade on her. But I can do a better job to help and support her. And even I started this, but maybe get back to it, learning to cook, so I'm more in control to be able to support on days she's busy, and I can get her back because she's doing the lion's share of all the work when it comes to our meals. So that's the area I'm looking at and saying, okay, breakfasts are good, lunches during the work week are good. It's the weekend and dinners, and I've known that for a while. But that's the next area of improvement to, I think, just keep up in the nutrition level, which to me then is the health side of this and the fitness side of this. Number three, and I've been working on this, I can stop mindlessly snacking. as I've been working on this, I realize that sometimes I just grab a handful of chips or some candy or something really calorically dense because it's there, because I'm bored, and not because I am hungry or because that would be just the most tasty snack in the world. And sometime and I'm actually working on this that when like it would just when like having a bowl of ice cream just sounds so amazing. I've been tending to actually allow myself, even not on the when it's not the Sabbath. I was used to be more strict on sugar. I'm playing with it, but I'll let myself have it because like I'm gonna get a lot of enjoyment from that bowl of ice cream. Other times you're just like, well, let's say I'm on vacation, but I'm already full, and that's where I want to go. I don't need the ice cream. I'm not going to enjoy the ice cream. Let's just not eat the ice cream, and let's not mindlessly snack. And so that's an area that I want to continue to grow in. Number four is I can add in a high intensity cardio day, like a hit workout or something. I can walk with the best of them. I wrote in my notes. I can walk for quite a long while, and I got the walking thing down pretty good. But if I were to jog or sprint, I actually was an athlete when I was younger. I still like to get out there with the guys sometimes, and I'm naturally a pretty fast runner. But now when I jog or sprint, I'm winded super quick. And so I recognize that while maybe I'm even actually getting the caloric burn I need to, I'm maybe getting most of the nutrition, my strength level is actually maybe in a good place because I'm working out daily. I'm not sweating. None of my workouts are getting me to that place of just sweat and out of breath and just pushing the cardiovascular. And so I recognize that I need to be. I think just overall, that's probably one of the missing pieces is adding a high intensity day. I'm not super eager right now to add weights back in. I've done some resistance weight training, just limited before. I'm pretty happy with the results and the body weight exercises, but adding in that pushing my body to kind of its max and cardio, and for a period of time is an area I recognize that I'm lacking and could add in. Number five, and this could have been one of something I could have put as a strength, something I am doing, but I'm putting it as a weakness here because I could do more of it, is stretch my legs and my body more often. When I think of longevity, I think of functional fitness, so being strong in ways that allow you to bend and to lift and do your general life. It's just going to help you prevent injury and just do the things that you naturally want to do. I don't in nature naturally find times where I need to like bench press 400 pounds, but I do need to pick up a 50-pound package relatively often, or help somebody lift a fridge into their house, a few times a year or something. When I'm helping people move, maybe I'm not that nice. I don't lift a few fridges a year, but I tend to focus more on functional fitness and strength. But then the other thing is this stretching. When I'm thinking of longevity, one of the biggest things I want to do to prevent injury and to stay mobile and nimble is this area of, I guess it'd be like mobility, flexibility, balance, core strength. It's something I actually like to do. I actually like yoga. I've done a little bit of, I think it was Pilates. I tried that. It's challenging, but I can be more consistent about it. I want to be able to be flexible. I want to be able to avoid injury. Even just today, the last couple of days when I've been just walking, like on the walking pad I talked about, I noticed some pain in my foot, just some discomfort. And so I took a little bit of time this morning to really stretch, because I'd walked a little bit before on the walking pad, a little bit of pain, stretched out my body, and I walked again, and the pain in the ankles was gone. And so I just recognized I want to, and that's when that catch-22, sometimes we're working out so hard, but we haven't done the work prior, that it's undermining our longevity because it's causing injury. And so I want to try. I'm really injury adverse. I want to break down the muscles for growth. I want to keep getting better. I want to be competitive, but I'm trying to be as injury avoidant as possible. I'm not sure. Maybe some physical trainers or athletes would have different thoughts on that. That's just kind of my personal thinking on it. So number five, though, is I can stretch my legs, my body more often. So much of my trouble, especially when I'm doing for exercises, work, is walking. It tends to be my legs and my feet and ankles, and so I want to stretch my legs out a lot. But as well, in addition, I do want to make sure, and I've had to kind of work on that my shoulders and things are doing good from a lot of push-ups and pull-ups, and want to stay healthy that way. Okay, we're wrapping towards our conclusion. But I might have mentioned it at the beginning of this video. I don't recall if I did at the beginning of this podcast episode. But this Thursday, I'm actually hiking a 9,000 plus foot dormant volcano. It's called Mount McLaughlin. It's a beautiful mountain in Southern Oregon where I live. And I've actually made it my annual litmus test for how healthy and fit I am. I've done it most years of my life since I was a teenager, and then I think I stopped for a few years, and then from young adulthood on, I try to get out every year and hike that mountain. It's kind of an all-day thing. It's a few thousand feet of elevation gain and quite a few miles of hiking and walking, a little bit of kind of boulder scrambling, and it's kind of scary, very beautiful. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing that this Thursday. So health and longevity was on the mind, and I like to do it to see my progress. And it's kind of it's like my physical exam, my test every year. Honestly, my anticipation is that I'm gonna do worse than last year. I felt really strong last year. I've been working out more athletically, more intentionally, for a few months prior to last year's hike. But I think I'm gonna do better than the year before that. If I keep the habits and the health fitness that I have, I believe that I'm gonna be able to hike that mountain for years to come. And that's really a big goal of mine. I'll do it with my family and friends for years and years and years. So I feel like I'm on a trajectory of success as is. But if I add in more fitness, if I add that cardiovascular hit kind of workout in, other things like that, then I believe I'm going to be able to get better and better at that hike year after year, or at least make a big improvement and make the following year, if I apply some of the stuff, the best year yet. And that is my stretch goal. I'm excited for that. Either way, there's going to be ups and downs in my health journey. There have been in the past, and there likely will be again. So here's my question for as we wrap up. What's your health and fitness goal, especially for the long term? You know, I've heard other people kind of say this idea, train for the mission. What's your mission? What's your mission in life? What's your work? What's your goals? What's the season of life? What are you anticipating for future seasons? What is it that you're wanting out of life? And then how do you need to train, and what habits and steps and actions do you need to take so that you can achieve it? My encouragement to you is this: start where you are and just take the next right step towards reaching those goals. You could be in great fitness and shape, and I hope still this has encouraged you, and you'll just keep on with it and take the next right step. If that is just continuing with what you're on. You may be listening to this and go, man, I've really fallen out of habits. I'm pretty discouraged. Don't know if I can ever get there from here. Just take the next right step. Do it not tomorrow, but today. And I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out at Geno@genoschmelzer.com, or subscribe to the Wise Letter at thewiseletter.com, and then reply to one of those. And I'd love to hear some of what you're working on, some of what's working for you in your process and your journey. Once again, I want to remind you to subscribe to the Wise Letter. It'd be great to have you part of that community as well. Thanks for being with me today, for nerding out today with this goal and answer, and hopefully just exploring this question: how do we grow healthy and fit for a lifetime? I will see you next week. God bless you all.